It's 1982, and 3D is a big deal. We talked about it with Jason for Friday the 13th Part 3. Well, now we're back talking about more 1982 3D movies. As this week, we're talking about the Charles Band-directed Parasite 3D. Let's go. And if your stomach hurts, go get it checked out, okay? All right, let's get in there.
Flip the switches to maximum amplification as Parker, Dan, and Angela prepare for their operation. With trivia and plot points scrawled across their walls, laughter and debate erupts as the movie's drama calls. The world may call them crazy, minds gone astray, but genius and passion and madness all dance the same way. Now the show begins to rise from its broadcast realm, and you can open your eyes as we dissect that film.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Dissect That Film Podcast, a podcast that dissects the good, the bad, and the ugly of cinema. I am your host, Brett Parker. Joining me, as always, are the other hosts of this show, Dan and Angela.
Hello.
What's going on, guys? Do you think I should attempt to wear these glasses the entire episode, or at least as long as I possibly can? And how long before you see me just turn and just throw up? Just randomly.
Listen.
Oh, if you throw up, I'm done. If I see you or hear you throw up, I'm done.
Actually, I'm just gonna take them off. Sorry, guys. Woo, boy, that is something else. What's going on, everybody? We are here once again because it is June, which means we are covering movies that are very much related to an iconic movie that is celebrating its 50th anniversary this year, called Jaws. You might have heard of it. But we're covering movies that are related. The Jaws clones, you might say. Or, what we consider Jaws clones. We started with Tremors from 1990. Last week, we talked about a mutant bear movie called Prophecy. And this week, it's back to 1982. Back to the fun use of 3D as we talk about Parasite.
You are about to witness the future. Be warned. It is a shocking sight. 3D, the ultimate sensation of visual art, now creates the newest, most terrifying form of fear, Parasite.
That thing on your stomach.
A new strain of parasite. When it reproduces, it will cast millions of microscopic spores into the air.
Just move your legs towards me real slow. Real slow.
Experience the living, breathing, terrifying vision of modern 3D. Parasite. You have only seen the preview. In 3D, you will live the film. Parasite. The first futuristic monster movie in 3D. Parasite.
Guys.
Parasite and Worker.
Yeah. Angela, this was your pick for this month. And I feel like I know the answer. Why? Why? Why did you do this?
Sorry.
No. You picked it, but I feel like I know the answer to this question. Have you seen this movie before? So did you pick
I only
this?
picked it. No, I only picked it because I couldn't. I looked up so many lists and I was like, I don't want that one. And then the two ones I picked, we had already covered. I was like, damn it. So I just took his pick.
I love it. I love where like all these other podcasts like choose a movie, for a month, and it's usually a movie that means a lot to them. They've seen it many times. Not on this show. We tell the co-host to pick movies. They're like, we're just going to pick a movie that's related to the month, right? All right. Have you seen it? Nope. And I love it. I love when you guys do that. You throw me a curveball and I love it.
We get new additions to our what have we watched lately.
Exactly. That's how the show's always been, though. You guys are definitely the ones. You guys have clearly seen a lot of movies, but you guys are definitely, growing as cinephiles as we go along with this show. Seeing all these new things. Dan, I'm gonna ask the same question. I'm probably going to get the same answer. Have you seen this movie before?
Listen, I found out
There I
about this
was.
movie when you're like, hey, look up Jaws clones. And I went on the internet, I Googled Jaws clones / ripoffs, and IMDb had a huge list. And I was like, Parasite from 1982. I never heard of this before, but it was on my short list. Not the movie I picked, but it was there.
All right. Well, I guess I'm the only one here who's seen the movie. And the only reason I've seen this movie was because I was doing a watch along with a podcast called Vintage Video, which is they are currently going through all of the films of 1982, and this was one of them. And I had heard of it in passing. I had never seen it. I had seen clips here and there. I remember it was one of those ones that was like, oh, you know, Demi Moore's first theatrical film and all that stuff. And so I was intrigued. So I watched it, going along with their show, listened to their episode on it. Really good. So you should check it out yourself. Yeah. So my history with this movie is whenever they covered it on their show and I watched it, that's about it.
There's nothing wrong with that.
And I won't give you my thoughts until later. So we will move on.
Let's do it.
So Parasite 3D was directed by Charles Band. If you don't know who Charles Band is, you don't watch movies, because he is behind some of the most iconic B horror movies of all time. You know, pretty much anything. When you see Full Moon, he is the man behind Full Moon Productions. I think he was behind Empire as well. That was the production company he had before Full Moon. Was it Empire? I could be wrong.
Was this before either?
It was
of those
Empire
was a
Pictures. What's that?
Was this movie before either of those were a thing?
Yes. This was not part of his production company. He founded Empire Pictures in 1983. He helped produce movies like the Ghoulies franchise, Re-Animator, Puppet Master. And then he founded Full Moon in 1988, where he did the Puppet Master series, Subspecies, Prehysteria. I mean, you literally could go through his filmography is astronomical. The latest one that is going to be coming out is a fun twist on the Barbenheimer fad from when Barbie and Oppenheimer came out. There's literally a movie coming out called Barbenheimer. So
why?
I don't know.
Hey,
because he can.
Well, so hold on.
I'm pretty interested in this.
He directed Dr. Moreau's House of Pain Noir. When is he going to direct Dr. Moreau's Fish Tank Noir? Because we did talk about it a few episodes ago. So this is relevant.
It is. But I mean, he brought us Doll Man, Demonic Toys, Trancers, Dungeon Master, which is actually...
Is that the Swords and Sorcery one or the BDSM one?
Yeah, that's what this one here was part of the Arrow pack here, Dungeon Masters or Dungeon Master.
I think didn't the guys do that at
Movie Dumpster? Probably. They've done a lot of
they like
Charles Band stuff.
Yeah, they seem to like his stuff.
Charles Band also was producer on a lot of my boy Stuart Gordon, like he did Dolls, Robot Jocks.
I've heard good stuff about Dolls.
Yeah. Charles Band's name is, think of B movies, especially B horror, his name's going to be attached to it. But this was like early in his career. I think this was his like second movie he ever directed. He didn't write the movie. This was actually written by Michael Shube and Alan Adler. He was a writer on The Dungeon Master, which was the Charles Band movie that we just mentioned. He wrote an episode of the Ghostbusters series, the original one that's not the one where they bust ghosts. It's the Ghostbusters, where Ghostbusters had to fight for the name from. You following me?
Yes. I remember we talked about this when we talked about busting ghosts.
Michael Shube, he not much. Nothing of importance there. And then we have Frank Levering, and these guys didn't do much in their careers.
No, it doesn't look it. No.
Alan Adler was definitely the one who had done the most, and even he didn't do a whole lot. Cinematography was done by Mac Ahlberg, who is a Swedish cinematographer who just did a lot of Swedish movies and then did a lot of stuff for Charles Band. He pretty much did the Dungeon Master, Trancers, Ghoulies, Re-Animator, House, Dolls, House 2, House 3, Robot Jocks, Beverly Hills Cop 3.
House Party.
Wow. And his last one was Puppet Master, The Legacy, which I think is the one where they just show clips of other Puppet Master movies. So it's not even really a movie. It's just a highlight reel.
Super Monster Gamera, baby. It's the best movie.
Music was done by Richard Band, who, I mean, we've talked about him before, as he did the music for Re-Animator. But he's also done music for pretty much everything that Full Moon does. This is a score, though, that feels very different to other Charles Band scores, because if you've ever watched a lot of like the Empire movies and Full Moon movies where Charles Band or Richard Band is the composer, sounds very similar, very computer, like very synthy. Like it doesn't sound like actual instruments.
No, it doesn't.
Where this movie felt like a score, like it felt like he had some sort of an orchestra, or he had a good group of people with instruments creating the score. There were times where it felt very John Williams. I don't really like comparing Richard Band to John Williams, because that's like there are two completely opposite composers. But the score for this felt fitting, and it felt like a legitimate score compared to the majority of Richard Band scores. And no offense to him, I always enjoy the just kind of really upbeat, synthy kind of sounding scores that he would do later on in his career. But it felt different. It didn't feel like Richard Band.
So the only time from this is just me. I'm not a big soundtrack person for the most part, and I'm not familiar with Mr. Band's work, but like, it was the occasion where like there was stuff happening and there would be the music, but then there would be like a fucking sound effect. I was like, is that the movie or is that the soundtrack? It was so weird. I was like, this is the Parasite thing making noise. Like, but it's like prior to it like showing up, you're just like like random. I was like, what the fuck is this? That's what threw me off.
I'm not surprised. I'm
not familiar with his work, so
yeah. I mean, you probably are more than you just didn't know. So I bought the Blu-ray that was released by Kino Lorber in 2019. It actually has a 3D version of the movie you could watch if you have like the more modern 3D TVs, which I didn't, so I didn't watch it in 3D, but you can if you buy this Blu-ray. The special features are okay. It's just a bunch of interviews with the writers, and there is one with Richard Band and the creature designer and creator Lance Anderson, who was one of the 3 creature designers, one of them being Stan Winston.
You gotta start somewhere.
Yeah, this was early in his career, so it was before all the big ones for Mr. Winston.
Yep.
So that's pretty cool. It was distributed by Embassy Pictures, who owned the rights to the movie for a while, and then I guess when Charles Band formed Full Moon, he got the rights to it, and there was actually talks about doing a sequel to this movie with original actor Robert Glaudini, and then it just never came to be. I think this movie could have gotten a sequel. I felt like it was ripe for a sequel, especially the way that it kind of goes along, but I guess they just could not figure out how to get it to work. But yet we have like 9 Evil Bong movies and 17 Puppet Master movies, and I think we're up to 5 Subspecies movies. So it's like, oh, we couldn't figure out how to do a Parasite 2. Come on. As for the cast, we have Robert Glaudini as Dr. Paul Dean. Boy, listen, I want to be nice, but I can't. This guy is not good. He is a wet paper towel this entire movie. He's good, really good when he's in pain, but other than that, I'm like, wow.
Well, dude, that's like, they're probably like, well, we need to do more movies. And then like, did you learn to act better? And he's like, no. He's like, well, fuck. We can't do more movies. Maybe, I don't know.
So I believe this movie was only filmed over the course of 3 weeks.
That doesn't shock me.
Which, yeah, not surprising. It kind of feels it. Which, no problem with that. I mean, some decent movies filmed in like 2 weeks. So, you do your thing. So originally, writers Michael Shube, Alan Adler, and Frank Leverling were looking to do a remake of William Castle's The Tingler, which is just an awesome name for a movie.
Yep.
And then as they were kind of developing the story more, it turned into Parasite. And pretty much that came to be when Adler, Charles Band, and Robert Glaudini kind of got together and formed the basis of the story for this movie. There was an original script, and some of the actors did not like it, especially Dana's actor, Sherry Curry. She wasn't a fan of the script, actually refused to do the movie. They changed the script. She signed on because she liked the new one.
Interesting.
And then when everybody is all set to go, they change the script back to the original script. I feel like that's always the case here. I feel like we talked about that last week. We talked about Prophecy, where they had one idea and it turned into another. And the writer's like, okay, I'm glad I wrote a completely different movie and you're not making it.
Yep. Here you go.
And that's not even the gist of it when it comes to Sherry Curry, because she had a pretty rough injury on the set of this movie, and we'll talk about it more when we get to the scene where it occurs. So the movie wasn't going to be done in 3D. It was literally a last second thing where they're like, hey, I like the idea, but you know what would even be cooler? If we did it in 3D. All these other movies are doing 3D, so why not us? So
Fair
that
point.
added, and the fact that they did the 3D effects with a regular production, and it still was only like a 3-week production, still pretty impressive. So this had a budget of $800,000, which is not a lot, and it made $5.5 million at the box office. So it did pretty well.
That's good.
Clearly enough to make a sequel, right? No sequel.
Almost. They did think about it.
So we have Demi Moore in her first theatrical movie. She did do a movie, I guess, the year before, but it wasn't, I think it was a made-for-TV movie. And so this was her technical first movie, like theatrical movie. She plays Patty Wells. We have Luca Bercovici as Rickus, who actually is more known as a producer than he is an actor. Actually, he's a director as well. He actually directed 1985's Ghoulies.
What?
Which he actually co-wrote.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Damn.
He's done a lot of production stuff, writing and directing. He was actually a dialogue director on the original shot in Japan miniseries Shogun, the original one. He, as we said, he did Ghoulies. No, he was he did costume designing. He did so much. I'm looking at some of this stuff. I'm like, holy crap, this is crazy. A lot of producing, but yeah, I did a lot of TV when it came to acting. He did a lot of TV. He worked on the original Fall Guy series. He did Miami Vice. Not seeing a whole lot else. Moving on.
But he did do a thing.
James Davison as the Wolf or the Merchant. He would do one other movie and then he quit acting.
Okay.
Al Fan as Collins. Cherry Curry as Dana. Tom Villard as Zeke. Vivian Blaine as Miss Daly. She was a famous actress back in the 40s. Freddie Moore as Arn. Which one is Arn?
Hell, I don't remember.
I don't remember either. Cheryl Smith as Captive Girl. And Joelle Romero as Bo. Yeah, Captive Girl. We'll talk about her in a bit. Yeah, there's not, like I said, not a whole crazy amount to go on behind the scenes with this movie. So I think it's ripe for the picking to dive into the plot of Parasite.
On the Vintage Video Podcast, we'll be reviewing every single wide release of the 1980s in chronological order. Over 250 episodes to enjoy and thousands more to come. John enters the store now to order another can of ether. I picture him outside like Homer with the gasohol.
One for you, one for me.
I also like to think about that the kids renew their vow not to talk about the murder
by murdering someone.
They're taking a blood oath with someone else's blood.
This stuff is 7 times more powerful than uranium. And they open up the vault that it's contained in, not wearing any kind of protective gear.
Yeah. And it's wooden crates.
It's like the guys in Chernobyl picking up the graphite rocks and going, because they're just rocks.
Hugging the elephant foot. Just like, oh, this thing's smooth.
It's so warm.
He turns to dial the number from the classified ad without even thinking about the numbers. We know this because we can hear his thoughts, and he's talking about how AJ was right that ninjas are misdirecting him.
They're misdirecting.
I really wish that he'd turn to the phone and been like, 665. No, that's too fast. Vintage Video. We're rewatching the 80s so you don't have to.
Are we ready?
Yes.
All right, here we go. It is time to dissect that. Oh. So the movie opens to a 3D title card. Whoa. So we get like this weird dream sequence or some flashback thing going on. I don't know what the hell is happening. This man is strapped to a bed or to a table, and there's like this red fog all over him and things are happening. Clearly he's in pain. You see like movement happening under his shirt. You're kind of like, what the hell is this? And then a man with a tattoo on his hand just comes up and like puts his hand next to his head, but you don't see who it is. And it's just it's a little odd. But then it does this weird like flashback thing where he's now in a lab coat walking around with like a petri dish full of the parasite, I'm guessing. And one of them just decides to like he's trying to put it in like a like thermos thing, which will be like one of the devices of the movie. And one of them just jumps out and just jumps right into his stomach. And we get some really cool effects of the parasite like wiggling in there, just soaking in itself in there.
Yeah, just go straight through his freaking clothing.
That's wonderful. It's good. So then we're back to him strapped to the bed, and he's in pain. And then this thing just bursts out of his stomach and then bursts through his head.
That's so weird.
I was like, why did it change direction so sharp? It just like bursts out of his stomach like a freaking xenomorph. And then it like turned and was like, all right, time for right through the chin, just right out the top of his head. I'm like, all right, this is starting off with a bang. This is like, we're not even slowly getting into it. It's like, nope, here we go. This is where you're getting. But then it starts to get slow. So strap in.
Yeah.
So we are now in, it's all, you find it's all a dream. He wakes up screaming and he is in like a van that clearly he stole from whatever company he works for or was trying to run away from. And he rolls up on
Zetrix or something.
Yeah, Xenex, I think is it? It's like Z or XENEX or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So he rolls up on a bunch of buildings, and he's got this weird laser gun. So I guess it's the future of 1992.
Yeah.
Metal.
Oh, we must have missed this in 92 because I don't remember laser guns like this.
I was like, where's this laser gun at? So he, he's got to like open a gate. He gets in there, and then he hears some like screaming happening from a building. So he's like, I should check that out. Wanders in there, and he sees that a woman is getting attacked by two men. Oh no, we should stop this. This is bad.
Clearly, but he very slowly tries to stop it.
Just walks in with his gun like this. Just like, I feel like he was going to start talking like Arnold, even though this is 4 years before Terminator. It's just like, step away from the girl.
But no,
and
doesn't even do anything with the damn gun.
He shoots it a couple times.
Not when he should have.
No, but then
like, I looked like when he was going to first shoot them, and it hits like way high and right. Like that wasn't meant to be a warning shot. Like he just completely just fucking missed. What
is happening?
Was he wearing white?
He was wearing. He's wearing lighter color clothing. Yes, he could have been a stormtrooper.
Maybe. So we then get like a slow-mo fight between him and the two guys. I'm like, why did we have to go slow-mo for this? And it threw me off. It felt like it went on forever because my wife even looks up and she goes, wow, it's still going in slow-mo. I was like, yep, sure is.
So unnecessary. I'm like, damn, they're moving slow. And I was like, oh, slow motion. Like, this is a terrible fight.
Yeah, I thought I was like watching. I was like, why is he reacting so slow? And I was like, oh, it took me a couple seconds to process what the fuck was going on.
He's just that bad.
Like, I literally watched a video. I commented on it because I'm just that kind of person on Twitter. But like, it was like of a clip of an anime where a dude shot a gun and like somebody put a comment on it. I'm like, no, he didn't even do this. He did it all wrong. Like if it's like this guy's the same way. If you're gonna walk up and produce like a firearm, don't try to like you've already escalated the moment you brought it out. Like you've drawn the weapon, just fucking use it. Dedicate yourself to it. Yes. And it just ends up being this whole fucking slap fest. There's some cool stuff in it.
It's something. It definitely is something. Yeah. And when you look at how long this movie is, you're like, okay, I see why you did it. We had to
stretch that out.
It's like 82 minutes. We got to make sure it's just long enough for theatrical showing.
Yeah.
So, he gets rid of the two guys, or at least he fights them off. And then he is rescuing.
Beats them off.
I mean, clearly that's all that was happening here because he tries to untie her because he thinks he saved her. And then she attacks him. And then you find out it was just a weird kink between these three fucks.
Yeah. But he undoes her wrist and she's just standing there with her arms up in the air. Like, you gonna like do something? Yeah.
And she's just feral.
Listen, I don't know, like, geez. It's like a trailer park.
But it was weird. Yeah, I was just like, oh, so this was just a thing you guys like to do. This is your weird
role playing?
Role play.
Maybe?
Yeah, just like so yeah, I want you two to pretend like you're raping me. And it's like, I mean, it's a dystopian post-apocalyptic future. So I guess people are more desperate and more into weird or very uncomfortable things. Yeah, no thanks. I'll pass on that kind of role playing. We do something a little bit more, I don't know, normal. Yeah.
I played some Fallout. I remember this shit happening.
Yeah, this is weird. So Paul goes outside and he meets Buddy. This is my favorite character, by the way, in this movie. And he doesn't get enough screen time, but he's cool. He walks up randomly. He's like, I'm glad that you came in here and got rid of them sickies. Those sickies are just wandering around causing trouble all the time. Hey, I got some coffee back at my place. You want some? And he's like, sure. So they go back. He's making him some coffee, and Paul starts reacting. He's like, oh, my stomach. And the guy's like, whoa, are you good, dude? I don't want anything.
Sorry. You find out he's like a coffee allergy, like a caffeine allergy. Like, I'm sorry, it's not decaf. Kills him.
He just smells it. Just. But the funny thing
was, after what I just witnessed, I don't know if I would be going with some random person for coffee. That could be
The funniest thing about this though is that he's like, hey, I don't want anything. I don't want any like sickness or anything like that around here. And he's like, oh, it's fine. I'll leave. And he's like, well, no, you can't leave without your coffee.
At least Paul tried to be responsible. What if, hold on, hear me out. What if this is an alternate reality? Well, we got COVID in like 91 instead of 19.
Yeah.
Like, whoop.
Well, as is most post-apocalyptic movies, it's fucking nuclear, bombs got set off all over the world and caused a bunch of issues. And here we are. It's like, oh, wow, the same shit. Wow.
I'm going to show this to my kids and tell them this was COVID-19, my grandkids. I'm like, this is what happened during the toilet paper shortage.
So, so he goes back outside and he gets attacked by the same two sickies again. And we get a lot of...
And the girl's there too.
Yeah, she's still without her top on. She's still just letting them flop in the breeze. Hey, you know what? Who's going to say anything to her, right? She just run around like this all she wants. I thought...
We're not dust in the wind.
When I first saw this movie, I thought this was Barbara Crampton. This looks like Barbara Crampton, and I had to look it up. It's not Barbara Crampton. We already mentioned her name. This is Cheryl Smith.
Maybe that's an alias.
Maybe.
I don't know if
she died at the age of 47.
Wow.
That's unfortunate.
So, yeah, she was in Brian De Palma's Phantom of the Paradise.
Oh.
Yeah.
I wonder if she had her tits out in that too.
Maybe not on screen.
I don't know. But yeah, so this is where we get a lot of what you would think would be 3D shots, where like you get the 3D gun break, like the gun breaks on the ground. They fight, and then like he's got the guy pinned on the ground. You got the snake that's like just sitting there, and they're like rolling around. And who's the snake gonna bite? Who's the snake gonna bite?
Yep.
Snake bites the sickie, and then other than the fact he got bit by a rattlesnake in the face, which is gonna be very painful, he gets freaking stabbed through the stomach with a pole. And then you had to get the close-up shot of the end of the pole as the blood slowly trickles out of it.
Hey, he's drawing sap.
It's great.
It's pretty dope. I was like, all right.
Yeah, I liked it. I thought the snake thing was fun. I like the rattlesnake is like, yeah, I'm going to get you. I'm going to get one of you sons of bitches. I like how rattlesnakes are always the snake that people put in their post-apocalyptic movies. Like, they're the only snakes that can survive, right?
Clearly, I think this is supposed to be California where this takes place, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so. I'm not.
Maybe it's not the apocalypse. Maybe it's just California.
I don't think it ever mentions where they are, but I could be wrong. I don't remember seeing it. So, yeah, the 3D pipe blood thing, that was really cool. And then of course, feral chick just kind of picks up her stuff and is like, ah, and just like runs away. She never says words. And she just
just hobbles away.
Does like the caveman walk out of there. So he's had an eventful morning. So he's going to drive. He's got to get some gas. So he drives up to this one gas station. Do you guys see the prices for the gas?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there was unleaded. There was methane.
It's like,
and then something.
Gasahol or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably some, like I said, it's just some alcohol gasoline blend. It probably just take like whatever that's flammable and just blend it with some like gasoline to pad it out.
Yeah. It was like $45 a gallon for that gasohol. It was like $35 for the
crazy
for the methane, and then the unleaded was the cheapest one. But that was the one where later on in the movie the guy says like no one uses it. No one uses like the regular gas.
Yeah, they haven't like had put gas in their cars.
Yeah, nobody fills up.
Yeah.
He's like, fill her up. He's like, you're full of shit. Nobody's filled up their vehicle in years.
Okay, here it is. There's a picture. $40.57 for unleaded, $35.65 for methane, and $29.98 for gasohol.
Okay, so it was opposite. So it was the unleaded that was the most expensive. Okay.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So he fills up for about 15 seconds. He literally puts the nozzle in there, holds the thing for 15 seconds. He's done. And then he owes like $105, but they don't accept cash. Cash is useless in this world, and it's all about silver. So he has to, I can't remember. I think he uses the last of his silver to pay for the gas, because then everything else in the movie, he's got to use something else. He asks about, and I love how everyone in this kind of world just has to be so angry. And I get it. This world sucks. So I guess you're always in a grumpy mood, but if that freaking gas station attendant is just like looking at him like, silver, it's a company policy. And he's just looking at him with those eyes, and he kind of like little stares at him the whole time as he like walks into the little shack he lives in. I was like, what is happening?
Hey, the doctor has it down pat with his face. I mean,
he's always got the I'm in pain look, because he is. He's got a parasite in there.
Hemorrhoids.
That's what it looks like. It just looks like he's got a horrible case of hemorrhoids.
Hey, remember when we watched the dank where he put the pepper spray on his brown eye? What if he had hemorrhoids?
Houston Jones. Oh my gosh.
So we watched Houston. Do you know who Houston Jones is?
I do not.
So he's a dude. He's a pain scientist.
Yeah, he does this all for science.
Yeah, he hurts himself and does dumb stuff like intentionally. But he's one of the more well-produced ones. And he was doing pepper spray, and he literally has done everything I mentioned. Like he sprayed his face, in his mouth, in his body. Literally had a dude put it directly on his rectum.
Yeah.
Don't know why, but he did it.
I can't watch.
Well, we know why. It's for science.
I can't.
I do enjoy them to some extent. Depends on what they are, but I could watch most of them.
I don't like people putting themselves through pain, like on purpose.
That's fair.
Yeah,
that's fair.
If it's an accident,
He's funny about it, though.
But it's on purpose. Like you're a dummy. I mean, I get it. You're making a ton of money for doing this, but you're also an idiot.
Yeah.
It's like freaking Coyote Peterson. You know, have heard of him?
Yeah, he gets bit and stung by random
I can't
shit.
stand him. He's like, I'm going to get
fine.
stung by the worst hornet to exist on the planet Earth. I could die. I was like, then don't do it.
The ants.
Well, the bullet ants?
Yeah, the bullet ants.
I watch a guy do that in real life.
He got bit by a snake. I think it was like an adder, which is like one of the worst like snake bites you could ever get, because it literally, their venom like dissolves your insides in the matter of minutes.
Necrotoxin.
Yeah. And he got bit by one, and they had to have like the anti-venom there. So as soon as he got bit, he had to go get his vitals checked, all that. They had to inject him with the anti-venoms. Like, and that's just a crapshoot.
What if it doesn't work?
Exactly.
They didn't have enough.
Or he has an adverse reaction.
Exactly. This guy's an
they
idiot.
have to have enough for your body size.
Right?
Damn.
What if sharks were venomous? Just a thought.
And no shark victim is getting is
Everybody's
making
fucked.
Yeah, I mean most shark victims are pretty fucked, but
sometimes you get your little pinky toe bit off, and you're like, oh shit.
Imagine that.
Well, you can be like the one girl that got her arm bit off.
It grew back.
While yeah, because she was a surfer. And she got her arm bit off, but she got back out and was surfing again.
Yeah.
Like,
what the hell is her name?
More power to you.
They made a movie about her.
I can't remember. I just know that I'm pretty sure she had a kid and got back out in it. And I was like, no, thank you. Yeah. I don't want to be out there in the first place.
Our friend of ours a long time ago. He doesn't live here no more, but he his little brother got bit on the foot while they were, I don't know, probably just some small bullhead or something like that, or maybe like a nurse shark and he actually stepped on it or some shit and got him in the foot. I don't know. Just some little shark.
Yeah.
But he got bit, he's a statistic now. He got bit by a fucking shark.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot worse things in the ocean than sharks. Like there's some jellyfish that can kill you in like one sting. You have the rockfish that literally you step on its little like poisonous barb that it has sticking out, and you're fucking done. And it's literally a fish that can blend into rocks. Like
Yeah,
what?
you're like,
what
don't
the
step on
hell
me,
is
but I
this
can't
shit,
see
man?
you.
You know,
Watch the guy
people
take a
listen.
Japanese Manawurm and sting himself with it, and I was like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
Those aren't jellyfish.
Listen,
But
They hurt. Yeah, it's still dangerous.
yeah, like why would you do it on purpose?
I don't want to talk a whole lot about religion because that's not what we do here, but I just want to say God created heaven and earth and all that crap, right? You know, and all the creatures on the planet. Why would the fuck would he create these things? Like
Camouflage.
Yeah, like, hey, so we're gonna make this thing that literally is a rock, but it's actually a fish, and it has a little tiny barb that you can't see, but if you step on it, you're dead. Like you're fucked. Like you're legitimately fucked. There's a fucking octopus that's like this big that can kill you with
blue
like
rings.
Yep. Like what? Why?
But look at not even box jellyfish, which is forgo the main one most people know, which is practically transparent in the water. What about Urakanji, which is an even smaller jellyfish, like fucking tiny, to the point that people thought it was an illness that swimmers picked up that was killing them, that it was not an organism because it's so fucking small and it will kill you.
Just whatever you do, don't go pick up shells in Australia.
Yeah, because you won't. What? Like
you never know if it's gonna.
Yeah, don't do that. Is there an antidote? No, don't do that.
Nope.
You'll be dead before you realize you made a mistake.
One girl went.
Which is this roughly the same group
Yes.
of organisms where
Yes.
that came from. Yes.
She went to Australia and was rewatching her video, and she's like, "I didn't realize I picked that up." I'm like, "Ma'am, you could have been right through the hand
because
and been dead."
Because they have a lot of the cone jellyfish, the cone snails. Certain species have myotoxins. They can literally produce any toxin inside their shell, like any fucking kind they want to.
I'm just never going back in the ocean.
It's just a mobile meth lab, dude.
It's wild stuff, dude. Absolutely wild. And it kind of relates to what we're talking about here. So he goes to the town and he goes to what the gas station attendant calls the Joshua Hilton, because we're in a place called Joshua. That's the only basis of where we are. I don't remember if it actually said what state we were in. I don't even think it matters in this world because of the state of the world.
I would have called it Schittsburg.
All right.
That's just me.
Welcome to Schittsburg. It's shitty
Well,
here. I don't know what to tell you.
It used to be Pittsburgh, California, but then people changed the name, and now it's Schittsburg. And
It just stuck, and we didn't want to go through the whole hassle of changing it back.
Absolutely.
We meet Maggie, and I love that she talks about how not a lot of people come through here, and so that's why I'm not wearing a lot of makeup, as she has a face full of makeup. So fun. Oh, Maggie.
Yes.
But yeah, this is where we continue to find out that Cash is absolutely useless. So he pays her with a ring that he has. And the thing is like, you always think like the things he's giving away has some sort of sentimental value to him, but it doesn't ever get explained. It's like he gives her a ring and then, yeah, we move on in the story. So you find out Paul's a doctor, but you kind of figure that out based on the weird dream he was having where he had the lab coat on. He was doing stuff with these parasites. So he must have been some sort of doctor or scientist. So yeah, but here we get the full clarification that he's a doctor. And, you also find out the ring he's giving away is gold, which I guess is like the highest valued thing around here, because he's like, yeah, should be way more than a couple nights. And she's like, okay. And maybe some bonus stuff. And I was like, what you trying to do, Maggie?
Listen, Maggie, that bonus stuff better include a decontamination service by the time we're done. All right.
I was like, I don't know about this man. He is getting paler and paler as we move along.
He leaves and she just walks out and goes,
Yeah. You're behind on rent.
I'm about to make that weenie wet.
oh my gosh, that just dawned on me.
I feel like I need to take a shit, Mr. Paul. I need to knock something loose.
Oh, no.
Oh, rough. That's rough.
No. So he gets to the room.
Thank you for remembering that.
You're welcome.
It's a room. And we get to see his infection that's on his stomach, the hemorrhoids he has, but it's actually the parasite.
Sorry,
It has a
That's its
heartbeat.
own heartbeat.
why does it have a heartbeat? Is that normal? I don't know. I've never had this kind of infection.
But Maggie's nosy. She like immediately is upstairs, like knocking on his door, asking him questions. She's hoping to see something. What is she gonna see? But I love how he's like, "Oh, it's fine, everything's okay," and she's like, "Oh, don't worry. It's not like I haven't seen it before." I'm like, are you just walking into your like patrons' rooms just hoping to see something? It's like, I've seen that before. Like, get the fuck out of here. That's not a viable excuse.
No, it's not.
Is Paul just like a low buck, like Herbert West? He like rents a room to do his experiments on. But instead of like reviving dead cats, it's like reviving like I don't know, vaginal cysts or something. I don't know.
Oh,
I don't know what that. I didn't know that's where we were going here. That's interesting.
let's not go there.
So a black Lamborghini pulls up to the gas station that we saw earlier. Yeah, it's a 19.
It's a Countach.
Yeah, I know. It's a 1978. I think it was that I looked it up.
74.
Was it 74? Oh shit. Okay.
Yep. It says a 74 Countach LP 400.
Now, I'm not a big Lamborghini guy, but you know with Countach, they made it for fucking ever. Like they're like the 80s supercar.
I don't know about the name of this one. I know Lamborghini Murcielagos and Lamborghini Diablos.
That's fair. It's the progenitor to them. I think they did the Diablo after this.
All based because of Need for Speed.
Hell yeah.
Yes.
No, nothing wrong with that at all. But no, dude, like in this post-apocalyptic wasteland, why the fuck are you driving this? What are you doing?
To make them seem scarier, Dan.
I guess it's like if you're trying to be, there's a scene later, and I was like, dude, you're not being very conspicuous.
The funniest thing is like for the longest time as you're watching every scene that this car shows up, it's driving so slow that I feel like it was somebody's personal vehicle from their collection, and they're like, you cannot drive it more than like over this mile per hour.
Had to be.
Or you
I
get
said that
fined.
too. I was like, they had to borrow this.
Yeah. There's a scene later in the movie where it drives faster, but I was like, most of the time it's like crawling.
And then there's like no exhaust. They put in like this artificial noise, except for like one scene.
Oh yeah, because it's got to sound like a future car. It's like, like humming, like a hover car. Okay,
weird.
They could have just gotten Kit from Knight Rider.
Yeah, they could have. You'd have the lights, bouncing back and forth.
No, no, it wouldn't have been. They would just switch to that body in '82.
They had a concept car, just like Michael Bay did when he directed the first Transformers. You got the concept.
This
car
motherfucker,
of the
these
Camaro.
dudes ain't affording no concept car. They got an old, 8-year-old Lamborghini by the time this movie came out.
Came out in
It was a
82.
well taken care of Lamborghini because it looked pretty damn good for.
Oh no, it looked great.
10 years
It
old.
looked great.
They
I don't
kept-
know. I mean,
They kept it clean too.
They did, and you watched the Blu-ray or was
Yeah.
it 4K?
No, I don't think there is a 4K.
Okay, but I don't know how the transfer looked for you, but the car looked good. It
It
was
was-
well taken care of.
The transfer was weird because some of it looked really grainy and like not like your
Mhm.
typical grain, which I'm fine with. I like even on 4Ks, I still like having the graininess of like those 80s, like 70s and 80s horror movies or whatever type of movie. But there was some of it where it was like kind of hard to make certain things out, and then it would clear up in the next scene. You're like, what happened there? Did they miss that section of the movie? But I love that the guy comes in and he's like, fill her up. And he's like, we haven't had anyone fill up in ages. No one fills up their cars anymore. And he's just like, you probably don't even have enough silver to afford it. And he's just like, whips out. It's literally like Batman and Robin when it's like, he's got the Bat card, never leave the Bat cave without it.
Yeah, pretty much.
But instead he's got like a
drive-thru.
Xenix, like
Yeah.
silver card. And if I'm the guy, I'm like, okay, what am I supposed to do with this? Like, do I keep the card?
Whoa.
Does he keep the card or does he have a swiper? Like, what happens?
I don't know if is that like an actual like. It's not like a debit credit card, but it's like a big piece of silver. I'm assuming.
Oh, maybe.
Like how they have
that
the
makes
things
sense.
of gold you get, like almost like the
So
rectangular.
he's like he
bits,
has like a stack of them.
Yeah, instead of it being like like a whole bar, is just like a.
I took it as it was like a credit card type thing. Like I have unlimited fill-ups at any Xenix gas stations throughout the wasteland.
Good Lord. It could have been. You never know.
The guy's sitting there like,
Is this the-
I didn't get my fucking what is the square machines that these companies use for their
Oh
cars?
yeah.
I didn't get mine yet.
There's going to be a 3% charge if we run your cars.
Son of a
Is that okay?
Bitch, I gotta call my bank. And they gotta call their bank. It's gonna be a whole process. I can't.
Yeah, we got $1 convenience fee.
No, what
Fucking
is that?
don't.
What does that mean? Convenience
As a
for
big
who?
business, as a large business,
Not us.
If you are a larger business, you should eat the fee. That's part of it.
Yeah.
Sacrifice, not like totally. You're going to blend that into the cost of something somewhere.
I
just
never
saying,
understood
hey,
that.
I don't get it either. Just saying like, hey, there's $1 convenience fee. You just whatever your average purchase price of something is, just put a little extra somewhere. But don't do that. It's such shit.
Like I can buy movie
Anyway.
tickets. I can buy movie tickets for my theater on. They have an app because they're owned by a chain theater. And you get charged like $2 for convenience fee, and I just don't understand what that means. I don't understand what it means.
I don't either.
It's
Whatever. It's fucking stupid.
So Paul's in town. He goes to this little bar, whatever this place is. It's like a tavern type thing. And it's run by this guy named Collins. And he's looking for some food because he was told by Maggie that there was food next door. So he goes there and he asks like, hey, what do you got? And he's like, well, we got, canned beer, canned fruit, canned beans. He's like, all right. Or no, canned soup.
Canned soup.
Not beans, soup. And he's like, well, I guess I'll take some soup. And he's like, oh, well, he just cracks it open. He throws it on like a little heater. He's like, I put the soup on for you. Cooks it for 10 seconds, throws it in a cup.
Yep. That's good soup.
It's like, all right. I didn't want to use all the butane, okay?
Got to ration
There's other
it
people
out.
here, okay? The funny thing is that the only reason that Maggie tells him about the food being next door is that so she could break into his room and snoop through all of his stuff.
Yeah.
But
That's
also,
true.
it's funny because she's looking through all of the stuff on his table, and she looks into the microscope, and there's still shit on the tray. Like he just leaves samples out like that.
Yeah, it's
There's like
normal,
little
right?
like things moving around on there. Like you didn't.
Dexter hasn't come about yet. He doesn't know how to put him back in and put him
I
up.
know.
It's
I
Hedora.
know.
Two of them just come together and just make bigger and bigger and bigger.
Mhm.
When we cover Godzilla Hedora, that'll make way more sense. But sweet.
Yes. And Paul sits and eats his soup, and Collins wants to make conversation, and he's got this like burn scar on his face, and I don't know if. So the whole thing is like Collins is like talking about everything that's going on and all that, and then Paul's like stops eating, and he's like, "Whoa, what's going on?" He's like, "Yeah, I just lost my appetite." I'm like, "From his scar? Is it that?"
I just thought he was
bad?
racist. I was like, Paul, you piece of shit.
Man, it
But
could
the
be
guy's
that
just trying to be
too. I mean,
nice.
he seemed nice because he was
Never
like, "Oh,
know.
you're the first like nice person I've talked to in this town."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Listen, I get Maggie's kind of an odd one, but she didn't seem too bad."
Yeah, I mean, maybe. Listen, I'm going to say this. Nothing against people that whatever. When I'm eating sitting someplace and eating or whatever, I don't want to talk to anybody. Leave me the fuck alone.
I guess,
Like,
especially in a world like
and-
this, is probably
Well, like no, like for me, like if I'm at a table with people that I want to be at a table with and eating, it's fine. I do not want some random motherfucker coming up and talking to me while I'm trying to eat. That's what I don't want.
I think it's different in this world because of the fact it is like there's so few people.
Yeah.
And Collins probably
I
doesn't get a lot of people coming in. So it's like,
Yeah.
hey, it's a new guy. Let me chat with him and see if he can indulge in some conversation about what's going on, So
yeah, breaks up the
I
monotony,
get
something
it. I get it. But, whatever. So these thugs show up and they're led by a guy named Rickus. And I was like, oh, wow. Great name, guy.
Rickus the Dickus.
Rickus the Dickus.
What's so funny about Rickus Dickus? We didn't get that scene in this movie, but it would have been funny.
Yes. No, we did get that scene in another movie that we talked about on the show.
We did, but not that one specifically. But the
Oh.
biggest, yeah. We got with not Rickus Dickus, but yeah,
biggest Dickus, right?
Yes.
So we then meet Patty or Patricia, played by Demi Moore, and she comes in and they like make fun of her because she grows lemons because she brings lemons to Collins. Okay.
Because she does a good honest day's work.
It's more that Rickus wants her to join their group and he wants to sleep with her 100%. But she's not about it. She wants nothing to do with this group. And Rickus has to give us a sob story about how he used to work for big business. That's why he's got that tattoo on his arm. And it's like, all right, bro, good for you. He tells, I guess,
Holocaust reference.
Well, yeah, because they pretty much state that when they work for the company, they pretty much work in like labor camps. So yeah. It's not what you think. Yeah, very.
I'm trying to determine. Oh, go no, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Rickus, is he truly an AMC man, or is he just walking around with an AMC badge on his fucking collar? Because I want to know.
He probably stole it.
I don't even know what kind of vehicle he drives. I thought it may have been like an old AMC Rebel or something. I cannot tell. There's so much missing in that car. No fucking clue.
When you
dude, it'd be sweet if he drove like an old Hornet or like that'd be sweet. Anyway,
when you're talking about cars, from the future, it's always got to be like half-built cars. Like they're always in pieces.
Yeah.
And somehow they run really well every time, except for when you need it to work. Then it takes a while to turn on. So
you need to try and get away from somebody.
Yeah, because we had the Lambo and then the Ford van, the Ford Econo line.
Yeah, the van was definitely the best car in the movie. Like other than the Lamborghini, of course.
Yes,
so like the van, because of course the Lamborghini belongs to a guy who works for Xenex, and the van also came from Xenex. So of course those are the two best looking cars. Where the other cars you see are all patchworks from everybody except for the Jeep. The Jeep was pretty cool. The little Jeep that Patty drives around. Well, it's not really a Jeep, but it's similar to one.
Yeah, honestly, I wasn't even fucking paying attention to what she was
driving.
It's
an old military car.
I have to look at it. No, I seriously didn't even pay attention to what she was driving at all. That's weird for me.
So we talked about the fact that Maggie was snooping around his room. You also see that there's a book about parasites that was written by Paul. You don't really get to see much of it other than the cover. And then you see Paul, he's like tweaking out again, and he's got to take his shot, and they got to do that in 3D because he's got to have his syringe towards the camera and squirt the liquid at the camera. You're like, oh, whoa.
Don't get it on the lens.
I gotta wipe it off. Then it smudges, and I can't see shit. Oh,
because they're cleaning it for like 5 minutes.
Exactly.
It can be like some of those movies. They've had bugs land on theirs, and they don't try and knock them away, and you just see a bug in the corner.
Why is that there? Is that a hair? Is that a bug? Sir, there's glare on the screen. Can you fix that? Like they don't just shut the fuck up and watch a damn movie. Anyway, go ahead.
So Patty meets up, or she like runs into the group again, and they're just like, yeah, you should join us. We could be friends. We're just messing with you in there, right? Rickus, you and your group send off such weird signals in this movie. I don't know if you guys are supposed to be bad guys or good guys or like just in between. Who the fuck are you? Because you literally were about to kill people, and then like later on in the movie, you are a completely different character. I don't get this character or this group at all. Patty wants nothing to do with them still. We already kind of picked that up from inside the tavern there. And Colin shows up with his shotgun. He thinks he's gonna waste Rickus. He's really excited. But then one of the guys somehow gets behind him. I was like, "Damn, Collins, you got no peripheral vision. You can't see a guy literally sneaking around behind you."
He's got that scar. You can't see out that eye.
No, nobody has any situational awareness in this movie. Like when shit's going on, like I said, if you are in this situation and you are armed and ready to defend yourself against somebody, do not let anybody get beside you or behind you or remotely fucking close to you.
Exactly.
You have a weapon. Take the initiative.
At least back up and give yourself some space.
Oh, shit, dude.
But yeah, Collins, he gets jumped, but then Patty's got it handled. She's able to kind of control the situation. And you find out she's truly a badass.
She is.
Demi Moore, I guess I'll just state this fact out. Demi Moore, when she is asked what is the worst movie she's ever been in, this is the one.
Really?
Yes.
I'm going to go look through her filmography, and I will beg to differ. No, I don't know.
No, I guess like just based on experience. Or
That's
don't
fair.
know. Who knows? Again, we've talked about this topic many times, the fact that a lot of actors kind of talk shit about like their first movies, and usually a lot of them are horror movies. Whatever.
Babies. All of them. No, it's not true. But anyway, carry on.
So Paul goes back to his room and he hides the container that houses the parasites that he took from the lab. And he goes to his van to get supplies and then runs into Rickus again. And I went, so Rickus gave you shit, right? You were like, he like stole your soup, drank it in front of you, was like pushing around. And then how long of a time between you being in that bar to you going up to your room and then deciding to go back outside to your van did you wait? Like I would have been like, maybe I should wait a little bit because so that Rickus may leave and then I can go back out and do this thing. I understand he's under some crunch time here because clearly whatever's going on with him is, shortening his lifespan. But I'm also thinking to myself, like, you couldn't have waited a little longer, watch him drive away, and then go, I think it's good to go. I don't have to run into that guy again.
Yeah, we can roll.
Yeah. So, but yeah, Rickus, he runs into Rickus. Rickus, gets all in his face. They start stealing a bunch of his shit. Rickus slices him, which doesn't really lead to anything. I thought him getting sliced and his blood being exposed, I thought this would lead to like someone else getting infected or something, but it doesn't. And they get real close when they show you that he gets sliced up. And I was like, okay, nothing. Thanks. And they're like, all right, where's the container? I saw there was this big silver thing you had. Where is it? And he's like, I'm not telling you. You can't have it. And he's like, well, I guess we'll go to your room and find it. And you see earlier where he hid it. And of course, they go up there and they're looking through everything. It's like, if they don't find this is the dumbest fucking movie. But they do. They find it. I was like, okay, still giving you a chance, Parasite. You're still on a subpar route. Let's keep going. And so they decide when they find the container, they're going to take Paul with them back to their place.
Why?
I don't know.
I never understood.
Don't
this.
worry. It gets more interesting as we go along.
Yeah, they don't listen anyways.
So they take that old jalopy to this rundown garage. And to be honest, this space is pretty cool. I can't lie. There's like an old bus in there that they kind of like carved out to like, you could sleep in there. People like sleeping in like makeshift beds that are made out of cars. Got couches everywhere. I'm like, seems like a pretty cool place to be.
They got a real car bed.
I sleep in a car bed. Do you sleep in a car bed? No, I sleep in a bed with my wife. Oh. Simpsons, I'm sorry.
Oh, so yeah, they get there and they got the container and they're like, hey, open it. We want to open it. We want to see what's in there. And, you have a guy named Zeke and he just looks like the biggest goober. He's always got a big smile. So he's like, hey, can I open it? Can I open it? He's like, Zeke, I'm going to let you open it. Tosses in the container. And what happens over the course of these next few minutes is hilarious. He opens
It's a fucking wreck. Clown shoes, dude.
Paul tells him don't open it.
Multiple times.
That's not. Yes. And it's funny because when he says don't open it, the people holding Paul are looking at him like, should we say something? Like, should we try to stop him? Like, this guy seems pretty serious. So they open it.
He'll be fine.
Of course, you get like a couple 3D shots where you see his like hand going into the container, or it's supposed to be his hand going into the container. And he's like, oh, there's some slimy stuff in there. And he like does the thing where he like puts his eye closer to the thing. And he's like, I don't know what it is. And then this thing jumps out at him, attaches to his chest. And instead of trying to help their friend, they just drag Paul outside the garage to beat the shit out of him. I went, what about your friend inside? He's getting attacked by something. Why are you leaving him?
These are the valuable seconds to save his life, not beating another man's ass. Like,
just throw Paul on the ground. They're like kicking him. And I was like, Zeke is dying. He's dying in there. And you are doing nothing to save him.
Not the only mistake that gets made.
Oh my God. So did you guys get a lot of fade outs in your version? Like where it would like after this scene happens, for one, you never see them go back into the garage to see if Zeke's okay. It fades out and Paul wakes up at Patty's place.
Yeah.
And I was like,
that's what happens.
I was like, when did Patty show up to pick him up?
Yeah.
What is going on?
Maybe she just found him in a ditch or something.
Did I miss a scene? I like rewound the movie. I was like, did I pass out for like 5 minutes? Like what happened? No, it literally is them kicking the shit out of Paul, fade to black, wakes up at Patty's place. I was like, oh, all right, there we are. She offers him rattlesnake tea. Not really, but I thought that was pretty funny. I was like, is that a thing? No.
Stirs it with a rattlesnake rattle. It's rattlesnake tea.
No, they just milk a rattlesnake into the tea. Get a little zing zing. Get a little zing zing when you take a sip. And she can tell that there's something going on with Paul because she looks down at his shirt and his shirt's kind of like moving around. Fancy Man, as I called him for most of the movie because we didn't get his name. You find out his name. Yeah, you find out his name is Wolf or the Merchant. But I call him Fancy Man because he's wearing a suit. He's got like one glove on. He's doing the Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
And
Did you get? Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
no, what were
Did you
gonna
guys
say?
get some priest vibes for like Equilibrium or whatever?
Yes,
Yeah.
100%.
Okay, so
It's always
sure it
that
wasn't just
guy.
yeah,
It's
that
the
one
guy
motherfucker.
sent out by the organization to stop other guys from sabotaging organization. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep. He meets up with Buddy and he asks, "Hey, I'm looking for a friend of mine. Have you seen him?" And he notices the broken laser gun that's in that area. And Buddy is like, no one's come through here. And freaking the dude just wastes him. He shoots his arm off.
Yeah.
Just lasers his arm off. And I'm like, no, Buddy, no. And then it fades to black again.
This scene, I laughed. We had to rewind it back because when he cuts his hand off, there's hand pouring out or blood pouring out from the hand. But then when he holds his arm, it looks like styrofoam and there's no blood coming out of his arm.
There's like two strains, but it's like it's like coming from inside the sleeve, not where it should at the base of the arm.
I was like, wait a minute.
The hand.
Is the inside of your body that white? Let me cut my hand off.
It's from the radiation.
He tells him, he's like, I don't like liars. Like, my hand. Oh, so yeah, Fancy Man shows up to the bar and meets Collins. And of course, he asks him the same thing, like he's looking for a friend and all that stuff. You get the same kind of repetitive scene where he goes in, he's like, I'm kind of hungry. What do you got here? And he's like, canned beer, canned fruit, canned soup.
And
he's
lemons. And lemonade.
Oh yeah, he's got freshly squeezed lemonade. And he gives him a little sample. It's delicious. And
which I bet it fucking is compared to what they're eating.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And he's like, yeah, I'll come back later and get something to eat, but I got to find my friend. Because he finds out that Paul's been there. He has just based on the conversation he has with Collins. Patty, for some reason, really wants to help Paul out. I don't understand why. She wants to dive into this man's life that she's met like 2 minutes ago.
Yeah, it's not proper motivations are not set for her.
What are we doing here?
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand. But she is hell-bent on helping him out.
She wants to get lucky in the end.
What was funny is I've seen this movie before, but for some reason, when I'm watching it, I was going, does she sleep with this guy? And then I'm glad it didn't happen because he was looking nasty by the time he even shows up at her place. I was like, please don't have this scene. I don't want it. And this guy is he not too purdy. Not
She's
to judge
like,
people by their appearance, but I'm gonna judge his appearance. He ain't a purdy man.
Absolutely. Paul, with all the wriggling masses we've dealt with today, I need your pulsating flesh tube. Absolutely. Which one? The one on my stomach or the lower?
Oh, God. I might be sick.
I'm so sorry.
But she lives in this really nice area of wherever they are, and the house is cool. She's got like a lemon grove growing in the back of the house. It's pretty cool. But Paul really needs to go back to the hotel or whatever the hell he's staying to get his stuff. We're back with the gas station attendant, and somehow he has Paul's van. Don't know how he got it, but he somehow has it. Yeah. And he gets confrontational with Fancy Man, and then it fades to black again. I went, are we going to see things happen? Or are we just going to get to a scene? Things are going to progress. And then when the thing should happen, it cuts to black. Then we go to a completely different scene. What are we doing with this editing? It's not good.
You're gonna have some intense scene, and it's just gonna cut out in the middle.
He's gonna be like right about to
what happened?
He's gonna be right about to punch this guy, but as soon as he's about to make contact with his face, it just fades to black. Oh, I forgot to mention that Fancy Man has a laser gun in his like sleeve that he pulls out because that's how he cuts off Buddy's arm there. So Fancy Man then goes and visits Maggie. So it's just kind of like he's just kind of following all the places that Paul's been. And he looks at the book that shows who's been there and sees that Paul's been there. And then guess what it does, guys? Fades to black.
Yep.
We're back at the garage and Zeke's going through it. And I went, well, if your friends weren't so shitty, you might have had some sort of a chance. Oh, but he's going through it. He is pale as shit. He is dying. And he's literally like, Rickus, Please don't let me die. And Rickus is like, you're probably going to die, bro. I don't know what the fuck is going on.
You'll be just fine.
Yeah, I love this. Like, everything's going to be okay, buddy. I think he's going to sleep. What did you say? Nothing. You're going to be fine. You're going to be fine.
Just sleep it off.
Oh, my God. So, yeah, Fancy Man, he's going through Paul's room. And, of course, just in time for Paul to come back to come get his stuff. And he's like, oh, I'm going to hide in the most obvious spot ever that Paul will never see me. And
yes, I was like, yeah, you're being very conspicuous here, sir. And like inconspicuous. The fucking vehicle's just pulled under a tree. in like fucking brightest, nicest vehicle out there. Who's going to miss this shit?
Well,
Everybody
clearly
does.
Paul, because he doesn't see it when he gets out to go upstairs. And the thing is like we see Fancy Man hide behind a wall. And then like Paul goes and gets his stuff and then he walks out and stuff. And Fancy Man does nothing. He just sits there and waits for him to go in and out of the building. And then he ends up following him. But he also lets him get really far ahead to the point where it's like, did Fancy Man see exactly where he went? Did he catch up going 20 miles an hour in his Lamborghini? But as Fancy Man is trailing Paul and Patty, Rickus and the gang cut him off because they actually took the van. That I'm so confused how people got certain vehicles. So Rickus and the gang have the van, Paul's van, and they have their car, and they cut off Fancy Man to then try to steal from him and all that stuff. But then he gets the upper hand and uses his laser gun and kills a couple of them, and then like threatens Rickus, but sees that he has the tattoo of Xanax on his hand, and he's like, hey, you should come back and work for us again. He's like, not in a million years. And we get that whole thing. But then he tells him to get the hell out of the way. You also find out he's a merchant, which is like a big deal. He's like pretty much like a mercenary. He's like, when shit goes down, they send these guys out. They pretty much run the government now, which is what Paul explains later on in the movie. And everybody's kind of afraid of him. So we're back at Patty's place, and you find out that Paul is the one who created all the parasites. So kind of everything that's happening, all his fault. But it was because Xanax forced him to, pretty much, because they were going to use the parasite for some nefarious things. We never really find out exactly what the parasites were being created for, unless I missed it. But they were being created for something evil. But the thing is like he has a parasite inside of him. And then, of course, there's the parasite that's attached to Zeke. And he's like, the only way I can study this thing and get a cure is if I get the one that's off of Zeke. And it's like, well, what? I still need to know how the fuck you got away from them to Patty's house. How did all this happen? But no, we got a fade to black and nothing explained to us. So like, what? It would have made more sense if he was still there and then he could have helped them figure out Zeke's issue. But instead, we got a scene that happens a little bit later in the movie. But he needs to make a cure because if it gets big enough and it reproduces, it creates spores, which if you ingest the spore, if the spore lands on you, it grows the parasite. And all I could think of was The Last of Us when they're talking about spores. And I was like,
it would be everywhere.
Which again, this doesn't lead to anything because the thing never reproduces and it never really explains how it reproduces. It's just like, if it gets big enough, it'll reproduce. Okay. So Zeke is dead. Poor Zeke.
Little bitch.
On his
Stuff it out.
On his gravestone, they should have put, I wish I had better friends.
Mine suck.
That ain't no kidding.
But they pull the blanket off and Zeke's dead. And I like the puppet. It's like a dummy, but it's got like the sunken features. And the parasite's gone though. And there's like, where the fuck is it at? So they go over to Dana, who I'm guessing is Rickus's girlfriend. Maybe, I don't know.
I'm assuming.
They pull back the blanket and the parasite's just kind of snuggling up against her. He's not attached to her yet. He's just snuggling up. It's like, I was so
He got cold.
Yeah. And but then it attacks her. Like they're like Rickus is trying to like slowly move her away and he can't get her there fast enough. So she just
No. He tells her to move slowly. And it's like
she just doesn't.
Why couldn't they have like stabbed it or something before?
Or just move quickly.
Kind of.
I don't know.
Yeah, that was always an option.
Or pick her up.
Always seems like a worse idea. Or pick her up. Exactly. Punch it like fucking Kevin Bacon punches the graboid.
I'm like, you're telling her to move slowly. I guess it's visions based on movement.
It has to be.
But you let it attack her.
That's
like you did this.
This whole scene is so funny. But yeah, it attaches it to her, and then this is what got me, because they don't do shit for Zeke. They just run out of this barn. As soon as Dana gets attacked by this thing and it's attached to her, they wrap her up in the fucking sleeping bag, pick her up, throw her in the back of the car. It was like, wow. It was like, no one here likes Zeke. Clearly, no one gives a shit about Zeke.
Poor Zeke. But that's the scene that she got hurt in.
Yes, because she asked if she could put her arm around the actor playing Rickus, and Charles Band's like, no, because you're supposed to be unconscious. And the actor tripped, and she fell, and she hurt herself really bad. They actually had to work around her being out. She was out for a while. So yeah.
I mean, if you fell on me and I hurt my back, I wouldn't want to be like, bye.
Yeah, exactly. So Paul talks about how he really needs the parasite. It's like, we get it, dude. All right. So he's like, we got to find the boy who it's attached to. And it's like, and in your head, you're like, well, that boy dead.
Yeah.
So they get back to town. And again, the confusion of what kind of relationship everybody has in this town, because Rickus shows up with the whole gang. Dana's in the back seat. And Collins comes out with his gun. And he's like, I'm so excited. I really am looking forward to, blowing your head off type thing. And Rickus goes, Collins, we got to cut the shit out. Dana's in the back and she's really sick. And Collins goes, oh shit, I should help her. And I was like, what kind of relationship does everybody have in this town? Collins, they come into your place and cause a ruckus, and they're just absolute dickheads to everyone here. But as soon as someone's slightly sick with something you have no idea what it is, you're like, let's help her out. Just go to the boarding house and see Maggie and all that shit. I'm like, what is this plot, man? It's so all over the place. Like, either make Rickus a compelling, complex, like, he doesn't want to be a bad guy, but he's doing what he's doing because he has to survive. But no, you just made him a generic thug. But then you turn around and try to make him like a sympathetic character. And I liked it that he became a sympathetic character because I didn't like this thug character that he was, but it just didn't work out the way it should have. And it was just very confusing. But what are you going to do? So they're like, hey, that guy who came here earlier, he's a doctor. We should probably find him so we can figure all this out. So does Paul just wander off into the wilderness? Like, he's at Patty's house, and then like he's trying to push her away. He doesn't want her to help him. He doesn't want to get her involved. And she's very like adamant about like helping him out. And he's just like, no, I'll be back. And he just kind of like wanders off into the wilderness. And I was like, where'd he go? How does he know how to get back? He's never been here.
Went to go get some cigarettes.
Go get some cigarettes in the middle. Fancy Man shows up at Patty's place. Just walks in. She's like, who are you? And I was like, no, get the fuck out of my house.
It's like, lady, open the door. Like,
he's like, I just wanted to have a conversation. And then things get really physical. Like, he just starts tossing her around, like tossing her through a wall. There's actually a wall though that you actually can see the crash pad. Like, they didn't even hide it.
Yeah.
He like throws her up against just a mattress against the wall. Like, you didn't even bend over it. It's just there. It's funny. Rickus shows up while all that's happening. Like, I think Fancy Man punches her, right? Knocks her out. And then Rickus shows up and fights him.
Yeah.
And then Rickus gets the upper hand on. I don't know if I passed out for like 30 seconds, but I take it he knocks Fancy Man out and like goes to Patty's place, right?
Yeah.
And then this is where you find out what's under the glove, where he has like some sort of infection.
Tattoo.
Oh, it's the tattoo.
Oh, does he? Oh, I thought it was the tattoo was the same that was.
So yeah, you see that the tattoo, right, is on top of his hand, but I think there's a thing on his palm because I think he has to inject something into his palm. And I think
he might have the same thing.
He might have a parasite in him. But that, again, it kind of doesn't lead to anything based on what we know about this movie. It's like, all right. I love when movies set things up to not pay off. You're just like, oh, okay.
Thank you. Thank you for these breadcrumbs that go nowhere.
Yeah, exactly. So Paul returns to Patty's place and she's a little bloody. And to be honest, it legit looks like she got the shit beat out of her because she has the blood like under her lips and like they're swollen. I was like, did they
It's very
actually?
convincing
Oh, yeah.
looking.
Either the makeup job was fucking amazing, or she legit accidentally got punched in the face. Because she seems woozy and not like acting woozy. She seems like someone who got punched in the face. Just, I feel a little woozy here.
He's like, I need you to punch me in the face. Like, I don't want to hit you. Like, I want you to punch me in the face. Like, really do it so we can sell this. Like, okay.
All right. And it looks convincing.
No, I look. Well, I mean, I know it's like even like the bruising effects on Paul. You got to listen to those. Like, they look pretty good.
Yeah, when like
that
people are sick and stuff like that, and you get that pale effect, it actually looks. The makeup effects and the practical effects look really good. I love all this ridiculous puppet work with the parasites. I thought they were great. It's literally like the parasite they're literally puppets. They're literally people like you would buy a fucking puppet at a store. You just put your hand through the middle of the thing, and then it were just so good. Yeah, this is where you find out that Fancy Man's name is Wolf. That he's a merchant, but we already found that out earlier in the movie.
Yep.
And then he has a new thing because originally he needed the other parasite in order to get a cure for whatever. But he's like, yeah, I know how to kill it now. Sound. And I went, when did Venom get written? When did Venom? When did Venom get introduced to comics?
It was. I'm pretty sure it was like the actual character Venom. I believe was post this, but he had the symbiote suit. It had to be. I want to say it was in the late 70s, early 80s. It was Secret Wars is where he got it.
Did Venom have the I die based on sound thing as one of his weaknesses in the comics?
I don't know.
Because I know that's in the movies.
It is. Yes.
So Venom was first introduced in 1988.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, I'm just going to say whoever wrote Venom, whoever created Venom, watched Parasite and went, that's one of Venom's weaknesses.
Yep.
It's going to be sound.
Yep.
So that's what they're going to do. The parasite that was attached to Dana kills her. She's looking worse for the wear, which means death. And then it attacks Maggie, and it's hilarious how this thing attacks her. So she's in her room, putting pound upon pounds of makeup on her face, talking to herself, of course. She's glamorous. And this reminds me of what was the wheelchair kid in Friday 2?
I can't remember, but yes, I know what you're talking about.
Where things are happening and we don't react fast enough, or we don't react at all until it's just too late. So she's in her room. You see like the slime. You see actually like a close up of the parasite like crawling up the glass, because her room is like literally encased in glass. And she then gets like shit dripped on her. And I'm sorry, but as soon as something drips on my hand, I'm looking up.
Exactly.
It's a pool of shit on her desk. And then she reacts and looks up.
Yeah, it takes her quite a while.
And I'm like,
because she's staring at what's dripping on her hand. I'm like, why are you staring at it? Look up, stupid.
I'm just, I was just like, what? Okay. And it attacks her. And then we get one of my favorite effects, which is the dummy of her getting like her like body is just getting sucked dry. She's just sinking in. Yep. It's so good. And then it, just like the weird dream Paul had in the beginning of the movie, this thing explodes out of her head. It's so good.
It's really cool. It's really neat.
Probably my favorite effect of the movie.
It's one of the two for me, for sure.
So Paul and Patty, they find the parasite at the boarding house, and they're able to like wrestle. He's like fucking Steve Irwin wrestling a fucking crocodile. Like, right, I got the parasite. Fucking stab it, get a sample. They get the sample. The funny thing is they get the sample, and then he just lets it go. And I was like, but then later he's like, we got to kill the other one. I was like, then why did you let it go?
Dude, when he goes and gets the sample, and like I even tell Angela, like he gets the sample, there's just that weird angle from the side of it. And you look at its teeth, and it opens its mouth. I was like, are the deadlights in there?
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck is this thing?
Just sewed them in.
Don't look, I can't help it.
It's so beautiful.
Oh man. So yeah, Collins earlier gets sent down to the basement because he's got to turn the generator on, I think it was, right? Because the power goes out, I think. And he's got to go turn the generator on. He goes down there. He runs into the wolf, who attacks him, but then Rickus shows up, and then the wolf kills Rickus by shooting him. And then it's like one of those moments where you're like, So am I supposed to be sad that Rickus died? Because they're really trying to make it seem like Rickus is a good guy now. And he redeemed himself because you get Collins coming over. And he's like, Rickus, you saved my life.
Yep.
Rickus ended had that one emotion.
Yeah, I was like, okay, all right.
One sympathetic emotion.
I said, I guess good job, Rickus. The thing is like Rickus and his gang don't kill anyone, so it's not like they were like a bunch of murderers and we were like, oh, now they're gonna give him a redemption arc. Like clearly they were supposed to be written like they were just surviving this world that sucked.
Yep.
So I guess I could go with it.
They were bullies.
So we get a really cool effect in this next shot where they do the sound thing and it pushes the parasite out of Paul's stomach. And it's really good where it gives a close up of that, like it breaking out and then it just like shoots out of him. And I was like, God damn, this man, I'm sorry. Was it like right under the skin to the point where like, okay, it's just minor bleeding, just put some pressure on it. They don't ever talk about it after where it's like, this man is bleeding everywhere. Like that thing just like bursts out of his stomach.
Yeah, the amount of like giblets and shit that come out of that, no, there ain't no throwing no Band-Aid on that motherfucker.
He's just got some Band-Aids. He's like, I think it's the work, Patty. Fucking Patty.
He's like, he's sitting there. That's like, yes, he's like, turn it up. Turn it up.
His head's like pulsating. Like, he looks like the guy from fucking Scanners.
His head just detonates.
Oh,
that's
God.
funny. He's just listening to his favorite metal album. His head blows up.
Oh God. So they got to find the other parasite to end it. And I'm like, well, you had the other parasite. You had it in your fucking arms, but you let it go because we needed this awesome climax where Wolf and Paul fight. And of course we get it's a very similar scene to the Paul fighting the sickie, where they're like rolling on the ground. It's like, what's the snake gonna bite? But this time it's, who's the parasite gonna bite? And the parasite, of course, it's got to bite, Wolf. And it latches onto him. And then we get the dramatic, he's like, he's getting attacked by it. He's like running through the boarding house with Paul, by the way. Like both him and Paul fall off this balcony.
Yeah, they go through a door and then like off a balcony. I was like, you guys can let go at any time.
See, Paul,
the ride stopped.
Why Paul is there
Paul
still?
is moving around fast though.
I know.
Like, for just having half of his intestines and stomach come out of his body.
Yeah, he's got intestines just dangling there like fucking chains.
What if he just takes part of his intestines out like wraps around Wolf's neck and pulls it?
It's like Indiana Jones swinging around.
Just lassos him.
Oh, so good.
Are you okay, Paul? It's weird. I can't feel a thing. Like you're probably gonna die.
I feel fine.
Oh God! But the funny thing is Paul didn't even need to be. Why was he even there? Because Wolf is reacting to the parasite. He's just trying to get the shit off of him. But they both fall off this balcony. Paul seems to be fine because he gets up and like runs away with Patty, who somehow like ran down the stairs.
And she's fine.
Yeah.
Even though she got it attached to her arm.
Yeah, it was. Well, was it the sound though that kind of like made it attach? Because the sound, it made it come out of him, but then it attached to him, and I guess the sound then killed it. So it like ends up.
Yeah, because he's already weakened from it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she has the marks on her arm that what's her face had on her leg.
Right. It's like
it looks like an octopus.
Yeah, like suction cups.
That's what we were.
Yeah.
It's the weirdest hickey ever. What the fuck is this?
She goes home and her parents are like, "Where'd that come from?"
Yeah.
Oh,
what's going on? This is why you're supposed to leave the door open when your boyfriend's here.
What kind of weird shit your kids into these days?
I to be honest, hickeys were always a weird thing for me. Even when I was in high school, I was like, why is this a thing? Like it was like a fucking badge of honor when kids would come in and like, look what I did. It's like, all right, dude. I don't.
Did you get hit by a stone?
Yeah, I'm very confused. And then some guys would like fake them. They would like find some way to make them look like. I was like, bro, I know for a fact you've never been with a woman. So stop playing games.
I need you to suck on my neck.
No, sorry.
It's not gay. We're just helping a bro out, dude. And when you're doing it, cut my balls.
If you listen to the show and think we're not all inclusive, We 100% are. We love you all.
Always, absolutely.
Dan just loves to be colorful.
That's just me, baby. I'm all inclusive.
Oh boy. So the funny thing is that Wolf and the Parasite land perfectly in front of this gas tank, and he's like, "Patty, shoot the tank." And so Dan, we're gonna pull a MythBusters. In reality, if you shot a tank like this full of whatever, what do you think was in this tank?
I don't know. Gasohol.
Well, let's see. There's 3 options here. It could have been unleaded, which I'm guessing is just straight up unleaded gas, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you had the methane, and then you had the gasohol, whatever the fuck that is. Any 3 of those, if any 3 of these things were in this tank and you shot it, would it explode?
No, it would have passed clean through because it needs a proper. We know this from MythBusters. It needs a proper like ratio of air and fuel in order to it spark. However, there's not going to be heat present. There's generally for a fire you need 3 things. You need fuel, spark, ignition, and air. Right.
Mm-hmm.
It is possible for substances to auto combust, so they do not need the ignition source. But we're nowhere near those temperatures. So yeah, the round would have just went clean through.
Okay,
I think.
There we go. There you guys go. I mean, listen, it's for dramatic effect here, but in reality, this wouldn't work. But for the movie, sure. Patty shoots it blows up. We get a really cool fire stunt. The fact is, the budget was so low that they literally didn't make the fire suit look like the actor. They just were like, we're just going to show this man on fire with this full-on fire suit.
Yep.
Still a cool-ass fire stunt, by the way. I'm not going to discredit a fire stunt.
No.
Even if it looks like the suit that they're wearing looks nothing like the actor, because
it's square fingers.
It's also 1980. Like, fire stunts were kind of in their infancy at this time. Even though there was fire stunts even all the way back to the 50s. We even talk about the original Thing had an amazing fire stunt. But like,
it did.
Fire stunts were still kind of, I wouldn't say new, but they were still trying to figure out how to make them kind of look like what the person was. Like even, I think 1984, when they did Nightmare on Elm Street, there was a fire stunt in that. And they had a guy dressed as Freddy Krueger. So it actually looked like Freddy Krueger. He just looked bulkier because he had to have the fire suit under the sweater and the mask.
Yeah.
But hey, you know what? I'll appreciate a good fire stunt because people who do fire stunts are fucking crazy, but they're fucking badass. So
yeah,
bravo.
He couldn't help it. He just gained a little bit of weight before he got lit on fire.
I did like the dummy though. The dead body with the dead parasite
looked
burned
great.
up. Really looked cool.
Yeah, it looked great.
And then the movie ends. That's it.
Well, the Wolf died doing what he loved.
Yeah.
Hugging cysts. I don't know.
Oh my goodness. But yeah, that's it. That is 1982's Parasite.
In a world that has been completely divided for so long, 2 movie fans have decided to unite for the people and the betterment of mankind. One, an action movie buff. The other, a horror movie fanatic. Together, they will try to bridge the gap of both genres into one podcast with their battle cry, "Give me back my action and horror movies." Listen along as Charlie and Nate alternate each week talking about action and horror movies they cherish, mostly from the VHS era. Also, including some modern examples that felt like the movies they grew up with by answering the battle cry, "Give me back my action and horror movies." Available wherever you listen to podcasts. Look them up on Facebook and Instagram.
All right, now it's time to go around the room and share our final thoughts on the movie. Let's start with the person who picked the movie. We're going to start with Angela.
I did like the effects of this movie. I did like the design of the parasites. This was quite a strange movie.
Very well put.
Just certain things I'm like, why? But I wouldn't say it was a horrible movie, but I probably wouldn't watch it again.
Okay. All right. Dan?
For me, it's pretty similar. It's kind of a one and done. Like, I'm glad I experienced it, but like, I don't want to say it's a truly awful film. And it does have its quirks. There's some things I liked about it, But like going into it with little to no research, it's like, okay, it's a movie about parasites. And then like everything else is like pseudo Fallout Mad Maxy. I'm like, this is not.
Yeah.
Not that it's fine with doing something different. I'm not blaming him for that. And some of the characters, they're a little bit memorable here and there, but like there's a couple effect shots I like. But then like some of the acting is kind of like, and like some of the direct like editing choices are really kind of fucking weird. I definitely would say if you haven't watched it, probably watch it once. The creature reminds me a little bit of and this is my experience with it because I didn't finish it. And I don't know why, but I watched a chunk of it. Was it Deadly Spawn? It's not exactly the same, but like vaguely.
It has similar elements to it. Yeah. The creature's very similar in that.
Yeah. But I mean, it was, like I said, for a one and done, not a horrible movie, not the worst I've ever seen, but it's not one that I would watch, probably come back to watch again, unless we just covered it again for some reason. So.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to do that, but I hear what you're saying. This is my second time seeing this movie. The first time it was like very average for me. And to be honest, it kind of hit the same notes. It didn't really, the second viewing didn't really improve on anything. I kind of still was seeing a lot of the problems that I saw the first time. And a lot of my biggest problems were the fade outs, like fading to black and not explaining certain situations. And like, how did this character get from this point to this point? And why are we cutting between things that are actually probably going to be cool? Like, I don't understand. Like, the story beats and the plot were kind of just a mess. I get the central plot of what we were trying to do, like bad corporation making bad thing or making something to do something that's never explained. Guy tries to stop it. Self-explanatory, but I feel like they cut a lot of things that just were important to making the plot not asinine. And the fades to black was just way too many, and it just seemed like I was watching a TV movie. I felt like this was the commercial. All right, we're back from commercial, and I just felt weird. The effects, great for the budget. Stan Winston, some early Stan Winston's always fun to see, like, you know, these like legendary effects artists and like movies that were really kind of in the beginning of their careers. It's fun to see, like, you know, these icons like Charles Band, you know, where they started out as and where they would go on for their career. So like the effects work and some of the performances were okay. I think, you know, Demi Moore, she was probably the best person in this, like the best performer, other than I think Luca Bercovici, who played Rickus, was actually pretty good too.
Yeah, he's all right.
The performances in this movie were kind of just, they were kind of bland, especially Robert Glaudini. The only thing he was good at was pretending like he was sick. His dialogue was so wooden. I was like, oh boy, this is rough. And you're the main character. This is going to be fun. Yeah, but overall, it's kind of right down the middle. I would give it like a 6 out of 10. It's nothing to write home about. I probably won't watch it anytime soon. It might be one of those movies like you have a couple drinks, you have a couple friends over, you throw this on. I think it'd be a good time to kind of get some laughs. But yeah, that's about it. So yeah, sweet. That's it for everything Parasite 1982, because we didn't get any comments on social media about this movie, because to be honest, I feel like this is not a movie a lot of people have seen. Not a lot of people have talked about. To be honest, like I said, it was one of those movies that I really hadn't heard about until Vintage Video covered it on their podcast, and I checked it out for the first time. And I would say give it a chance, give it a try. You know, it's probably streaming on Tubi or something. I think that's how I watched it the first time. Plex. You know, it's probably on any one of those sites. So check it out if you can. And then write back to me on what you thought. I know Daniel Collins said he checked it out, and he actually said it was okay. So there we go.
There you go.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Next week is the finale of our Jaws Clones month. But guess what? It's not about a Jaws clone. It's about the movie itself. Because next week we're going to be doing a very special episode celebrating the 50th anniversary of Jaws. And I hold up my beautiful new 50th anniversary steelbook of the movie that I just got. It is absolutely gorgeous. I'm going to be in Martha's Vineyard the weekend of the celebration, which is the weekend, I think, of the 20th or the 22nd. So I'm going to be trying to get some cool shots, and I'm going to try to make an intro for the episode in Martha's Vineyard on the beach where Alex Kittner gets attacked. It's going to be cool.
That's cool.
I even got my little baby microphones to do it with. So I'm ready.
Nice.
I am ready to make this one a fun one. It's going to be a little bit different than what we usually do on the show because it's going to be, everybody and their moms have talked about Jaws. They know the plot of Jaws. We're still going to go through the plot, of course, but we're going to do it with a little bit of this and that, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm very excited because it's been over 4 years since me and Dan sat down to talk about Jaws and like episode 5 of the show, and we're going to be on episode like 210 by the time this one comes out. So it's been a long time coming that I get to sit down and talk about my favorite movie of all time in great detail and to celebrate a huge milestone. So I'm very excited for that episode next week. I'm not going to talk about July because there's a lot of shit going on in July and we got a lot of fun things planned. So we'll talk about that more next week when we talk about Jaws. So thank you so much for listening. I'm trying to think. Oh, yeah, you can follow us on all the social medias at Dissect That Film or Dissect That Film Pod. We're on Dissect That Film Pod on Instagram and Threads, and we're at Dissect That Film on everything else. We're on YouTube at Dissect That Film, where you can watch the video version of the podcast. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe on the videos. We'd appreciate it. We're so close to 1,000 subscribers. It'd be fantastic if we can hit that milestone soon. I think we can do it way before the end of the year. We have a Patreon, patreon.com/dissectthatfilm, where for a single $1, you can get uncut versions of episodes up to a week before the full edited episode comes out. And we have some other stuff in the works. So, join us over there. You can either join us at the $1 tier. We have a $3 tier. And then you can also join at the free tier so that you can get access to our Discord, because there's a lot of fun stuff that we do over on the Discord. We do a lot of cool conversations, talk about a lot of cool things. So make sure to do that. We do have another show, a little side show called The Monster Zone, which is a show hosted by Dan and Angela, where once a month we spin a wheel of monsters, and whatever we land on, we talk about. For the month of June, we did War of the Colossal Beast, which was our Out of the Patreon Vault episode. And then by the time you hear this episode, our episode on Humanoids from the Deep will be out from 1980. So that's pretty cool. And then you guys will be getting another Out of the Patreon Vault episode before July. So that one will be on Beast of Hollow Mountain. Is that what it's called? Beast from Hollow Mountain?
I think so. Yeah, that's correct.
So you guys get 2 Out of the Patreon Vault episodes in June, and then you get another one in July. So a lot of Monster Zone stuff going on. And Dan has a podcast, a Magic the Gathering podcast called Manawurm. So you should check that out. It's on Spotify right now. He talks all Magic the Gathering. And he now has a new co-host, which is his son, Victor. So that's cool.
Yes.
So you should check that out. I'm going to try. I keep forgetting, but I have it in the description. I just got to throw the Spotify link in there so people can click on that and get to the show and listen. So you got to remember to talk about all these things. So yeah, check that all out. Is there anything else that I'm missing?
I think that's.
I think I did. I think it's like one of the best end of show things I've done in a while. I feel like everything was just popping up in my head. I'm probably still forgetting something because I always seem to do that. Lastly, though, I got to thank all of our wonderful patrons over at patreon.com/dissectthatfilm. We have Billy Joseph Jr., Bucket of Shum, the Shark Movie Podcast, Corey Morissette, Daniel Collins, Jordan Champion, Lo Wang, Rudy5453, Dustin from the Flicks and Friends Podcast, Angela, Anna Presley, Dan of Dissect That Film, Doom Generation, Eric Stein, Jason, and Robert Stewart. Thank you so much for supporting us on Patreon, and thank you to everybody else for supporting us, period. Sharing the show, supporting the show, listening to the show. We have been getting a lot of support with downloads and subscriptions and views on, it's been a great couple months, and we really appreciate all your support, and we hope that things will just keep growing and people will keep listening, and hopefully you guys will listen to these episodes, because I feel like Parasite is going to be one of those episodes we're going to be looking at going, somebody's going to listen, right?
Right? No,
listen to episodes about obscure movies, people. It's always a good conversation.
Broaden.
Even if you don't have no interest in the movie, check out our conversation. It's always a good time. So we appreciate you all for all the support, because without you, this show wouldn't be what it is. And the show also wouldn't be what it is without my wonderful co-host Dan and Angela. So thank you so much for being here. As always, I always appreciate you being here and supporting me. So with that, before Dan passes out, we're going to get the fuck out of here.
Yes.
So until next time, I am Brett Parker. That is Dan and Angela. And we are Dissect That Film. And this has been another episode of the Dissect That Film podcast. We'll see y'all again on the next one. Bye-bye. Oh,
Until we meet again.
oh,
Ah.
Watch out for those claspers.